Welcome to the UK Loops guide to Through the Lens or TTL loops. In this presentation, we'll briefly run over the differences between flip-up loops and TTL loops and the advantages and disadvantages of each. One of the main differences between flip-up loops and TTL loops is that the hinge mechanism of the flip-up loops allows the angle of declination to be changed, as is shown in the picture. This is a useful feature of flip-up loops, as it allows them to be angled for different applications. Another difference between flip-up loops and TTL loops is that the lens is positioned further away from your eye in flip-up loops. This is shown in the picture. The closer the lens is to your eye, the greater visual field will be viewed through the loops. This next animation shows how positioning the magnifying loop closer to the eye increases the visual field. The diagram shows the rough distance of your eye to the magnifying piece in flip-up loops, and as it's moved closer, the TTL setup allows a greater visual field. Although the difference between the lens to eye distance is small between the flip-up loops and TTL loops, the greater visual field that is achieved by the TTL lens arrangement is the major reason why wearers of TTL loops prefer them over flip-up loops. Another benefit of having the hinge mechanism on loops is that when performing tasks that don't really need full magnification, they can be flipped up and out of the way, out of the line of sight. With the correct hinge tensions, they can rotate only about the uppermost hinge axis, so when flipped back down, they should be in the correct position, ready to use. TTL loops carry a considerable extra cost because they must be custom made to every individual. With flip-up loops, the distance between the lenses can be adjusted. With TTL loops, each pair of loops must be custom made to the individual. This means that flip-up loops could be used by two people, whereas TTL loops are only custom made to the individual. A benefit of having an adjustable interpupillary distance is that the working distance can be adjusted to a small degree. As shown in the animation, by moving the loops outwards and inwards, it's possible to fine-tune the exact position that the loops are focusing. This final slide summarises the main advantages and disadvantages of the two types of loops. With TTL loops, the major advantage is that they allow a greater visual field. This essentially means that you can see a greater area through the loops. They are also slightly lighter in weight, as they lack the hinge mechanism of the flip-up loops. However, these loops cannot be adjusted, so they can't be moved out of the line of sight or changed with regards to the angle of declination. Other changes, like optical prescriptions, should your prescription change, will also mean that the loops will have to be reset in the frame. These factors, as well as the fact that each pair of TTL loops is custom made to each user, means that they carry an increased cost. With flip-up loops, the major advantage is that they can be adjusted, so they can be changed for different applications and flipped up out of the line of sight when not in use. This is particularly useful for users who are just becoming familiar with loops for the first time. They are marginally heavy in weight due to the additional hinge mechanism, and due to the position of the lens being slightly further away from the eye, they have a smaller visual field than TTL loops. Due to their flexible nature, they are of a lower cost than TTL loops. So thanks for listening. Please visit the website www.ukloops.co.uk for more information on loops, or you can email us at sales@ukloops.co.uk.